In the early 1770s, a group of slaves in Massachusetts petitioned the Assembly, saying, "We expect great things from men who have made such a commitment to human liberty." They wanted the Assembly to take up the issue of slavery, as the Assembly was complaining about British parliamentary acts that enslaved them. The Assembly did not act, but there was a growing sentiment in Massachusetts about slavery. There was a growing black population in Massachusetts in the 1770s and 80s, enslaved people who were fighting for their liberty. They were serving in the militia units. They were farming. They were doing other kinds of important work in Massachusetts. The Massachusetts Constitution of 1777 and 78 didn't mention slavery, and one objection people had when they voted it down was they thought it would say something about slavery. The Constitution adopted in 1780 also doesn't explicitly discuss slavery, but the first article of the Declaration of Rights says that all men are born free and equal and have certain natural, essential, and inalienable rights of which they cannot be divested. Sounds very much like other constitutions written at the time, and even like the words of the Declaration of Independence, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Very similar wording, very similar sentiment, and sometimes we can dismiss this as simply political rhetoric or constitutional boilerplate. In 1782, a slave in Worcester County named Quack Walker, owned by a man named Nathaniel Jennison, and in fact Jennison leased Walker out, and every week Walker would have to come and pay Jennison his weekly wages until one week Walker said, "How come I have to pay him money I have earned?" And so Walker did not go home to Mr. Jennison. Instead, he stayed with the person who had hired him. Jennison came and found Walker, beat him, brought him back home, forcibly took the money that Walker had earned. Walker found a lawyer named Levi Lincoln, no relation to the future president, and Lincoln took Walker's case to court, arguing that under the Massachusetts Constitution, Walker was entitled to his own liberty. That's what Article 1 said. All men are born free and equal, have certain natural, essential, and inalienable rights. Case held in Worcester County, presided over by William Cushing, the Chief Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court, heard Walker's case. That's actually the case of Commonwealth versus Jennison. That is, Jennison had tried to sue Walker. Walker had countersued, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts took an interest in this case. And Chief Justice Cushing, in his charge to the jury, said that under the Massachusetts Constitution, the people of Massachusetts seem to have expressed their sentiment that slavery would be inconsistent with their idea of a commonwealth. And the jurors agreed. They agreed that Mr. Jennison could not own Mr. Walker, nor could Mr. Jennison own the produce of Walker's labor. So this jury decision in 1783 in Commonwealth versus Jennison pretty much ends slavery in Massachusetts. At the same time as this case, there was another case in Berkshire County involving a woman named Elizabeth Freeman. Elizabeth Freeman was held as a slave by a man named John Ashley, and in this case, a lawyer, Theodore Sedgwick, brought suit against Ashley. And in both cases, the juries found that slavery was inconsistent with the Massachusetts Constitution. Cases brought by Elizabeth Freeman, a black woman, Quack Walker, a black man, who found justice in the courts of Massachusetts from the juries of Massachusetts under the protection of the Massachusetts Constitution. 1790, Massachusetts is the only one of the states in the first census that does not record any enslaved people. There are free people of color in Massachusetts who will enjoy their liberties under this Constitution carefully created in 1780 to balance the system of government. Slavery ends in Massachusetts under the terms of the Massachusetts Constitution.